Okay, next up we have Metametrix with Mary Meehan, and that's very alliterative.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So recently, Nielsen reported that of several thousand new products in 2012, only 14 managed to reach that $50 million mark and continue to grow past that point. And this is just one of the many stats out there that is reporting on the dismal product failure rate. Bill Gross, many of you know him, of Idea Lab, he started lots of companies. He did some research looking at this, what makes a startup succeed, and the number one item that he found was timing. So he's asking his startups, are people ready for your idea? And this notion of timing is the same when you think about new products, new categories, where you're going to go with your business or investments. Doesn't matter just for startups. Companies spend millions or maybe waste millions of dollars on failed products without understanding what is the climate that your product is going to exist in. How is your brand or your candidate or your idea being portrayed? And why and how are consumers engaging with it? What is the timing? Are people ready? Metametrix is the only tool to allow marketers to instantly examine cultural forces shaping their business, creating an environment of opportunity or risk. The user can type in a person, place, or a thing, and we instantly deliver meaningful perspectives real time in one solution. Values, or why consumers are engaging. Concepts, or what is actually defining the topic that you want to know more about. Categories, or where the activity is taking place. And the when. This is the landscape of growth and decline, concentrated areas of emergence, saturation, or vanishing, as we learned more about earlier today. Technology. We started building this by first creating these vast custom collections of data that are related to how we define concepts, categories, values. We marry that with our linguistic mapping and semantic engine. So when the user types something in, we then go gather public data, all kinds of it, or client data, and we can then measure that against our vast collections, producing the results and analysis for how the world is changing around what you want to know more about. We are a subscription-based model. 3 areas: automated, thanks to Steve and Zappy. DIY, agencies typically like to work this way. And a third area for those that want a little bit more advisory or consultative help. Competition exists largely in 2 main areas. First, social analytic tools. There's a lot of them out there. They're efficient, but they are confined to just that, social. Insight consultants have lots at their disposal, but they're expensive and they take a long time. And typically they just look at the consumer, not the culture as well. Where we are a multi-source, robust, efficient, qualitative analysis with quantitative results. The team. As a co-founder of Iconic Culture, I'm a veteran of the insights field, trend analytics, and methodological strategy. When we expanded our business in 2003, we became subscription-based, so I have lived the ups and downs of this world. And when we exited in 2010, I started in on this new idea. So I have done this before, and I intend to do it again. My team, Chief Analytical Officer, 20 years of experience. The CTO, architect, lead engineer, software specialist for 14 years, legal strategy, 20 years with emerging companies and emerging tech, corporate finance, business advisor, venture finance, also in emerging tech. We are beta ready right now. There's value to be had with it right now. We're in the process of securing strategic partners, and with funding, we'll be developing V2 and the infrastructure to be ready for general market in 6 to 9 months. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
So nice presentation.
Thank you.
Just talk about the I don't even know where to start. Let's talk about the data. You're matching against data. Talk about how birch tree water, somehow you can magically tell me what's relevant there.
Right, so we built these custom collections of data. So we built those, that's part of the sauce, that is our IP. And then we created this linguistic mapping device that combines with semantic engine, all right? So when someone types in birch tree water and they want to know more about beverages or that specific water, then we go out and gather tons of public data, synthesize that to 100 pieces of data that's most relevant to that request, and then we measure that against our collections that then produce the analysis that you saw on the screen.
So are the collections some of the magic as well? I mean, is that sort of your
Yes, they are definitely magic.
interpretations of...
Yes. Represent hours and hours of many, many work.
So what's the perfect use case? What's the bang on perfect? I'm a marketer.
You want to know more about something. It's a person, place, a thing, a concept, anything you want to know more about. You can begin to search and deliver analysis and then continue to search to build more and more understanding around how you can then begin to tell how the world how the culture is behaving around what you want to know.
So for clients who might be in specialized industries, for example, home improvement, how do you work with them maybe in the advisory subscription to pull in maybe some more specialty type sources? And
Absolutely. And we can also use client data. Like let's say you've got a file that has all of your panel data in it. You can click on that, drag it through, and have that file analyzed for all of this as well.
So for brands like myself, you know, if we're looking for a trend or a type of flavor or a type of retail clothing, how does that all play into just typing up the information?
So it starts from a fixed point. So you have to type something in. You either have to type in something very specific like birch tree water, or you have to type in beverages. So you can be very specific or very general, but you'll still begin to build an understanding of what's happening in the world around your idea, where there is opportunity and risk.
You collect the public data as well as clients' data.
Right.
What are the examples of clients' data?
So if you have a file of all of your online community, or you have a file of all of your research, if it's text-based right now, we can still deal with it. Soon we'll be able to deal with audio and video.
Can you talk a little bit more about the visual data?
Oh, if it's video.
For the future.
Yeah,
video
video.
and images as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Soon, yeah. Not now, but soon.
Thanks, Mary.
Yes, Jeff.
Who do you tend to target in the client organization?
It's usually a chief knowledge officer, chief innovation insight officer, head of research. We've even had interest from people in the security world looking for information about how value sets change within people that opt into their services. So it's spread across the investment world. We've had interest from investment bankers looking for a way to actually be able to tell how the culture is changing around certain things that they'd like to know more about.
Marketers are pretty expensive to reach, so what's the plan on go-to-market, and can you share anything with pricing on what the average project price or subscription price would be?
Right, yeah, I had 3 of those up there. So there's the automated, which is Zappy-like, thanks Steve. DIY, typically agencies are looking for something more affordable, $25K, $35K, around there. And then marketers that will probably want more help, more advisory, that would probably begin at $35 and go to $75 enterprise-wide. Consulting can always go along with that as well.
And is it going to be an inbound model or outbound model when you think about
It's all,
outreach?
oh, you mean in how we would approach?
Yeah.
Yeah, sales would drive it. Yep.
So next step is strategic partners. So what are you trying to...
I would like to secure beta users that can help use the product and give me feedback on what works and what's not. As you all know, this is one of the most humbling things you can do. But it's so important to be able to get that feedback from real people that are going to use it. It really helps to be able to change what we're developing while we're developing it, as well as help fund this next stage. And I'll make it worth their while. Consulting.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.